guest now is a member of the Senate Democratic Caucus. Jeff Merkley of Oregon joins us now. Senator, thank you so much for being here.
You bet, Casey.
So I want to start where we left off here. Do you think Democrats should allow the government to shut down if Republicans won't negotiate with you?
I think that the House Republican plan is horrific, and we should be hell no. And we should use our leverage in the Senate to negotiate a much better deal. We have that leverage. This is the moment to use it.
Do you not think that there is a risk in allowing the government to shut down? Because using your leverage would likely require that, when it's clear Republicans are actually interested in cutting government jobs right now.
Well, Casey, I don't accept that framework. We would be putting forward the 30-day continuing resolution that keeps the government open in order to pass the bipartisan spending bills that already came out of the Senate committee, almost every one of them, unanimously, all of them with strong bipartisan support. So if Republicans vote against a 30-day plan to keep the government open, then it's the Republicans who are shutting down the government, not the Democrats.
Right, although, I mean, they would have to let you take that vote in the first place because they, of course, control the floor. But, Senator, can I ask you to take us inside the lunch that Manu was referencing? Andrew Desiderio, reporter up there on the Hill, put on Twitter that he could, quote, hear Senator Kirsten Gillibrand speaking quite loudly inside the lunch, and she seemed to be making the case against allowing the government to shut down. I've seen at least one other Democratic senator give voice to this in public as well. We also heard this from your colleague, Senator Merkley of Arizona. I want to play his comments for you, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. Watch.
If we shut down the government, that's generally considered by many people as not a good thing to do. And especially in this environment, when we have an unelected billionaire that's already shutting down parts of the government.
So, of course, Senator Kelly there from Arizona, a swing state in recent elections. What did you hear from your colleagues in that lunch? And does Senator Kelly have a point?
Well, the great majority of the caucus has some version of this. If you don't stop a bully by handing over your lunch money, and you don't stop Tyrant Trump by voting to give him more power. That is absolutely the wrong approach. There are others who say, you know, in a shutdown, the president may have more power than we've seen in any previous shutdown. There is a legitimate case to be made on both sides of this argument. But here's what I'm aware of, and that is in history, as you see institutions degrade in republics, when there's an authoritarian president, it is because the courts cave and you get an acquiescent legislature. And the best time to take on a tyrant is as early as possible. And this is the moment we have the leverage as a Democratic caucus to insist on negotiations, to produce those bills onto the floor, those appropriation bills onto the floor. This is the moment to use that leverage. I think the concerns about the Republicans shutting down the government, because it will be the Republicans that do it, it will hurt them politically, it will be bad policy, and we will get back to using our leverage in an effective fashion.
Sir, what do you think if the government were to shut down because Democrats voted to filibuster, or upheld the filibuster, I should say, of this House-passed bill? How do you think you'd get it open again? And do you think Republicans would stand in your way?
Casey, that's the point that's so important. It won't be shut down because Democrats filibuster. It'll be shut down because Republicans reject keeping it open for 30 days. We have the ability to go to that bill, to make a motion, to proceed to that bill. It's been Rule 14 onto the calendar. We can absolutely put that vote up, and they can decide not to go to it. But if that happens, they are in charge. They're in charge of the House, in charge of the Oval Office, in charge of the Senate. And if they vote down keeping the government open, it's on them.
Senator, before I let you go, I do want to ask you about the tariffs that we learned that the president plans on putting on the Europeans, a 200% tariff on wine and champagne and spirits as well. I know there's actually a pretty robust wine industry in your home state of Oregon. Is this something that they would look upon favorably?
Casey, I've just been meeting with the ag groups, and we do have the best Pinot on the planet. Everyone buy that Oregon Pinot and you'll love it. But indeed, they're very concerned about retaliatory tariffs. We have so many exports. We grow more things in Oregon than in any other state in the union, all kinds of fruits, berries, row crops, you name it. So there is a lot of stress right now among the agricultural community.
All right. Senator Jeff Merkley, very grateful to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here.